All right, we are ready. So welcome to this afternoon's hearing. I'll ask Ms. Dukes to read the docket.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner, and good afternoon. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman and other commissioners, this proceeding before the Public Service Commission in docket number 2019-336T concerns the application of Elite Movers LLC for a Class E household goods certificate. The hearing is scheduled for today, January 15th, 2020, immediately following the Commission's weekly business meeting. We are here in the offices of the Commission at 101 Executive Center Drive in Columbia, South Carolina, 29210. There has been no objection and no intervention. Mr. Chairman and other commissioners, the docket is in order.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take appearances from the parties. We can cut that.
Charlie Terraney for the applicant, Elite Movers LLC.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Terraney.
Jenny Pittman and Chris Huber for ORS.
Welcome once again. Your second run for the day. Okay, is there anything we need to do in a preliminary manner?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move the application and its exhibits into evidence at this time.
Okay, we'll move the application in as hearing exhibit number 1.
And I'd like to move the affidavit of the applicant shipper witness, Damon Blunt, into evidence as well.
Okay, the Damon Blunt shipper witness affidavit will be moved in as exhibit number 2.
We're ready to call.
Ready to go? Okay. Go ahead and present your case.
Applicant calls Jamal Green to the stand. Mr. Green, let's let you be sworn in, please. Screen, you might need to speak up and make sure that microphone's on. There you go. Got the light on.
Yes, sir.
Oh, maybe not that loud.
You're in good shape. Thank you.
Please tell us your full name and address for the record, please.
Well, cut it. You
Just leave it
don't
on.
have to touch it again. It's on now. That little red light's on, so you're good.
Oh, excuse me. Jamal Green. Our residence is 6486 Dorchester Road, Unit 67, North Charleston, 29418. And what else did you need to know?
That's good.
Okay.
Perfect.
All
Mr. Green, did you prepare or cause to be prepared 5 pages of pre-filed testimony that was in this docket?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any corrections or additions you wish to make to this testimony?
No, sir.
If I asked you the questions in the testimony today, would your answers be the same if given orally from the stand?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move the pre-filed testimony of Jamal Green into evidence.
Mr. Green's pre-filed direct testimony will be entered into the record as though given orally from the stand.
Mr. Green, were there 2 exhibits attached to your testimony, a tariff and a bill of lading?
Yes, sir.
Do you wish to make any changes to the tariff or bill of lading attached to your testimony?
No, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to introduce the exhibits, the tariff and bill of lading attached to Mr. Green's testimony into evidence at this time.
Okay, we'll enter the tariff and bill of lading as exhibit number 3.
Mr. Green, let's start by telling the commission a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
Born and raised, Charleston, South Carolina. I'm 35 years of age, married, 2 children, 13 and 2.
That's good. Where'd you go to school?
I graduated from North Charleston High School.
What do you do for a living? I know you're applying to be a mover, but you also have some other jobs, right?
Yes, sir. I'm a lead at Marley Beer, which is a manufacturing plant. I've been there since March of 2003.
You said a lead. What does a lead do?
I'm a team lead for the rework department, and say if we have any failed components, my department repairs it if it's repairable and sends it back to the line.
Okay. And you have a welding trade certificate, is
Yes,
that right?
sir.
Okay. How long have you worked at Molly Bear?
Since March of 2003.
Okay. And how about the moving business? Tell me, why are you getting into the moving business?
I always wanted to go into entrepreneurship, and friend of a friend also had a moving business, so he was able to kind of coach me in the beginning on what would need to be done, and I also was able to kind of help out part-time a little bit with him. So I saw the need and the opportunity, so I went for it.
And so did you start the business Elite Movers LLC?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you the only owner of Elite Moving LLC?
Yes, sir.
And does Elite Movers, will it have any employees
Yes.
when you start business?
Yes, sir.
How many?
Beginning until we can get things ramped back up to.
Okay. You said ramp back up. Tell me about what you've been doing up until now with your business.
Well, I didn't know I wasn't operating with the proper license. I had a license through the municipal Charleston, and the Better Business Bureau reached out to me to accredit the company, and I sent them the documentation, but it wasn't the correct license. So that's when I reached out to OSR and hired Mr. Terraney to get things corrected.
And once you learned that you needed a license, did you continue to provide household goods moving services?
No, sir.
Okay. And did you advertise that you would provide those services?
No, sir. I didn't take down any of my original websites, but I'm not sure as far as what all it says. But we didn't take on any more household.
Okay. And as for your employees, tell me generally how are you going to train employees at your business?
All of them, the two that I have now had years of experience prior, but as we grow, I will do on-site training with no charge to the mover. So say if it's a 2-mover job, I would bring on the third man, no charge, just to have them hands-on.
So they can observe and learn how to do things on the job?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I forgot to ask you, but did we publish a notice of your application?
Yes, sir.
In the Post and Courier? And there's an affidavit of publication in the file, Mr. Chairman, which I'd move into evidence at this time.
It will be entered as exhibit number 4.
Mr. Green, have you or any of the people that will be driving your trucks had their licenses suspended in the past month, or
No, sir.
I mean, past 12 months?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have any outstanding judgments against you or your business?
No, sir.
Now, you did disclose in your pre-file testimony that you have some criminal convictions in your past. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the commission about those?
In my early 20s, poor choices as far as just being around an early age in the environment, when things got kind of behind back when I was younger. Made some bad choices with marijuana or whatnot, and I was convicted and sentenced to probation. I completed my probation without any infractions, and I haven't been in any particular trouble since those charges, which is the conviction date was 2006, so I think it happened in 04.
You'd have been how old?
In 04, I was 20.
And you're 35 now.
Yes, sir.
And married.
Yes, sir.
Father of 2.
Yes, sir.
Things are different.
Totally different.
And Mr. Green, we brought a couple of letters from the Department of Probation, Pardon, and Parole Services showing that you successfully completed your probation, and I've shown them to the ORS, and with the leave of the commission, I'd like to introduce them into evidence at this time.
Okay. Those letters will be introduced as exhibit number 5 and will be entered as exhibit number 5.
Mr. Green, does your business own a truck?
Yes, sir.
What kind of truck is it? Is that the truck that your business owns?
Yes, sir.
What kind of truck is that?
It's a 2007 GMC straight box truck, C7500.
You have equipment that's necessary to do moving, like blankets and trolleys and that kind of thing.
Yes, sir.
You have insurance, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
And we submitted certificates of insurance with your application. And if I remember correctly, was your cargo insurance, did you have limits of $100,000 for your cargo insurance?
Yes, sir.
And $1 million in liability insurance?
Yes, sir.
Why do you think there's a demand for moving services in Charleston, Mr. Green?
Growing up in Charleston, I see the condos going up everywhere. And as we were talking about earlier, a movie theater that I used to go to in high school, they're actually tearing it down and building up, I believe, they say a 600-unit apartment complex. So there's people moving everywhere in Charleston right now. With Volvo and Mercedes, we're getting a lot more new residents from out of state, stuff like that.
How are you going to let people know about your services?
Social media, word of mouth, flyers, cards.
If you had to give the commission a preview of or tell the commission about your plans for the next 5 years, could you do it? What would they be?
Expansion as far as more trucks and more movers, of course. And in the future, as maybe opportunities in different cities, if there's a need, as we were talking about, with maybe expanding to Greenville and doing the same thing with the same business model.
And I'm going in the wrong direction here. We introduced a bill of lading with your testimony. Is that your bill of lading or the sample bill of lading?
Yes, sir.
Is that are you going to use this for your moves?
Yes, sir.
And each move will get a bill of lading. Is that correct?
Correct.
And we introduce a tariff into evidence and with your testimony. Is that your tariff, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Green, are you aware that you can only charge the tariff rates to your customers?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Green, that's all I have for you today. I'd like you to answer any questions that Ms. Pittman or Mr. Huber may have or the commissioners may have.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Pittman,
No questions from ORS.
thank you. Commissioners. Commissioner Belser.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Mr. Green.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for being here today.
Yes, ma'am.
In your pre-file testimony, you said, when asked how you would reach your customers, we plan to market Elite Movers with online SEO and Facebook, cards, flyers. What is SEO?
That's search engine optimization.
Okay.
I have, it's like where people kind of market you on Google, like they put in like keywords or key searches or something of that nature to try to put your ranking up high on Google and the other like search engines.
Okay. I just wasn't sure what the abbreviation meant. I'm somewhat technology challenged
It's on
myself.
the internet.
That's what I said. I'm technology challenged.
Just kidding, Commissioner Belser.
Let's talk back to your early 20s. And I believe you let us know, and I appreciate your candor in this. You had 2 incidents with charges, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you talked about the marijuana in 06, but in your testimony there was also a 04 conviction for misdemeanor unlawful carrying of a firearm, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make clear, just want to understand. the firearm conviction had nothing to do with the marijuana conviction, is that
No,
correct?
it was just I had a firearm and it wasn't where it should be, and
Okay.
I wasn't. old
Happens a
enough
lot, but when somebody's got drugs and a gun, that's a whole nother matter. So that's why I just want to be clear on those.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? Okay, thank you. I appreciate your candor on that.
Yes,
And sounds like married life has fit you well, is that right?
Yes,
Your
ma'am.
wife keeps you on the straight and narrow,
Yes, ma'am.
and vice versa. Let's see. I did want to ask you about your rates and charges. I'm looking at your tariff. I don't know if you have a copy or not, or if you need one. Well, he may know, Mr. Trini. Let me just ask him. Your rates are for 2 men and 2 laborers, 2 men and a truck. I hate to say it as 2 men and a truck. It sounds like we're advertising for someone else. But let's say 2 workers in a truck,
Yes, ma'am.
and would be $90 an hour. Is that correct?
No, how we have it set up is we have a 2-hour minimum,
Okay.
and we included the travel and all that. But we computed something that would make sense. So we come up with the minimum charge that's right above that of what it would be for 2, 3, and so on. So
Oh, okay, I see. So it's 2 hours for the 2 laborers in a truck would be $240.
correct.
And then $90 per hour after that.
Yes, ma'am.
And I believe on the next page, it talked about your travel fees, that 2-hour minimum includes 40 miles in that.
Yes. Yes.
Tell me how you calculate the 40 miles. Is that from leaving where the truck is located, or is that from where you load up? How do you calculate the 40 miles?
From the location, our location, to wherever their residence is. So if it's within that parameter, then there's no additional charge. Okay. It's just for if someone wanted to hire us out, that's a lot further out, just to make sure it still made sense, being that the jobs that's in that area, we are not charging the travel charge. So
now, how does your per hour, where the 2-hour minimum, do you start the clock when you leave from your location?
no, ma'am.
Okay, so you don't.
When we arrive,
Okay, and then when does the clock end?
when it's completed. So after they've set everything up, if they need to be any kind of any setup. So at the completion of the paperwork, final walkthrough.
Yeah, because once you unload, they want you to move a couch here or move the table over there instead of here and that kind of stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
You may have to put some stuff together.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, how long have you been involved with the new moving business, as either working for your friend or with this venture?
Coming up on 5 years.
So, do you feel that you're knowledgeable and experienced as far as packing and loading the truck? Because damages can occur if things aren't packed properly.
Correct.
Would you agree with that statement?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you feel like you're qualified to do that yourself as well as teach your workers?
I would definitely let my workers do the training, but I am qualified to do it.
Okay.
They just, I would say, they have more experience than I am. So
Okay. So that's the main thing, is that people.
the best training possible.
I mean, I think when folks come in here for a certificate, I mean, you want to treat people like you would be treated if you were the customer, wouldn't you?
Correct.
Okay. And you would agree that you don't give good service, that word of mouth will travel faster than if you give good service.
A whole lot faster.
Okay. How long did you operate before you realized that you needed a license from the Public Service Commission?
Do you remember when I contacted you, Mr. Turin?
Well, we filed,
But how long were you operating before that, before today? Like, when did you get your truck and start? A year? 6 months? 2 years?
I have my truck for about 2 years.
Okay. And you've had some success, is that correct? I'm not trying to trip you up here. I'm just,
No problem.
you've had some success.
Correct.
People have booked your moves.
Yes, ma'am.
So you've seen the need for your services in that area, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And once you found out from the Better Business Bureau and talked to Mr. Torini, have you done any household good moves since that time?
No, ma'am.
Okay. But you're ready to get back to work?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I believe that's all I have. I appreciate you being here today, appreciate your testimony, and wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you.
Commissioners, Commissioner Whitfield.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One quick one. Mr. Green, I noticed your insurance limits are really good, in particular, your cargo is much higher than our requirements, and I'm glad to see that $100,000 limit. If we grant you authority, or do you intend to go with that $100,000 limit?
Honestly, I want to scale it down to 50.
Have you gotten, I notice your quote is $4,275. Do you have a quote if you do scale it down to 50?
My agent is working on it now because my renewal is next week.
And I guess you've had these conversations with Office of Regulatory Staff maybe, and maybe Mr. Torini?
Mr. McGill was telling me that it's way above the limit, so I know 50,000 would still be way above what the household need would
Well, I don't know the value of what you might be moving for some of these folks, but it is good to have sufficient coverage, and you and your clients will have to determine what sufficient and what the value. I know some of these things doesn't take that much, but if you get into some high-end and antique type things, it can get up there kind of quick. So I would, you certainly, the limits you've got here in your application are more than adequate. So anyway, just wanted to see where you were going, and certainly 50,000 is well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other questions? All right. Mr. Torini, anything else?
That concludes our case, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Green, thank you. We'll let you step down.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ms. Pittman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Yesterday on January 14th, ORS filed a letter in this docket stating that we did not intend to file direct testimony. Based on our review of the application and inspection of the applicant's records and equipment, we find that the applicant is fit, willing, and able to operate as a Class E household goods mover in South Carolina. And at this time, I would like to move our letter dated January 14th, 2020 into the record as the next hearing exhibit.
Okay, it will be entered as exhibit number 6.
Thank you. While we haven't filed testimony, I do have Mr. McGill here with me today from our Safety, Transportation, and Emergency Response Department, and I'd be happy to call him up if y'all have any questions for him.
Second chance for the day. Anybody got any questions for Mr. McGill? I believe he's clear again, Ms. Pittman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Anything else that needs to come before us with this case? We will let you know as soon as possible, and appreciate y'all being here, and we are adjourned.